Okay, guys and gals, welcome back to Stewart Raceway Studios, I guess. This is uh, video number 3 of the Mega G Plus tuning tips. And what we're going to talk about this time is the final touches on prepping a box stock or Mega G Plus Light car. And you can see on this particular car, I've worked on this one through the last 2 videos, and we've gotten everything pretty well dialed in. Uh, Installed some lower profile rear silicon tires. I think these are, I don't know where I got these. They're either silicon tire or super tire or Viper aftermarket tires for the Mega G. The fronts are slightly larger profile than the stock Mega G Plus front, and I got those from what's it called? HOTiresDirect.com. Getting pretty good lap times out of this car now, going from about a 5.2 out of the box to I think the last time I looked around a 4.6, actually a 4.5 today after just a couple of laps. So anyways, that's a pretty good improvement, and it's a stock car, and but still a pretty impressive lap time. And what we're going to do now is, probably the last thing you would do on race day, other than lube it up really well, is to show you another tip on how to, get your shoes, shoe to rail contact, as good as you can get it. So what we're going to do here is we've got the track live and ready to go, and we're gonna mark these shoes and then run 5 to 10 laps and just see how the shoes are actually making contact and how they're wearing on the rails. So the first thing you do is you get a fine point Sharpie. You could use a medium point or regular point Sharpie as well, but fine points tend to be the best. And you make a mark on the shoe on the front, on the toe, in the middle position. This Sharpie's a little dry. And then on the heel. And the heel's pretty, it makes contact pretty far back on the heel. So you want to get the Sharpie marks, lined up so that you've got a pretty good, nice painted line across the shoe, and relatively solid. And what you're going to be looking for is just how the rails are wearing on these things, and you want to look at both shoes, obviously. So what we're going to do is just get a pretty good solid, painted line, if you will, across the shoe, and try to do a few laps. We're going to do 5 or 6 laps, maybe 10. We'll see how it goes, and then we'll come back and take a look at what things look like. Alrighty, we're back after about 6-7 laps, and interestingly, there's not a lot of wear anywhere really, but you can see on the passenger side shoe, it's pretty much landing in the middle of the shoe, and I'm not really able to get a good good view of that, but you can kind of see it's pretty much landing right in the middle of the shoe. You can see the Sharpie mark pretty well off, whereas the other two marks are not touched at all. And then on the driver's side shoe, where, it's kind of not much wear anywhere actually, maybe on the toe, but not a lot. So we got to probably do some more laps. Let's see how that looks after maybe twice as many laps.
Red 127.73. Red 4.547. Red 4.630. Red 4.379. Red 4.385. Red 4.410. Red 4.450.
Okay, let's see what this guy looks like. So, after another 5-6 laps, and some pretty quick ones I might add, what we're seeing is still not really obvious wear and tear on the shoe. Clearly, the passenger side shoe over here is wearing pretty much in the middle, quite a bit in the middle. And the driver's side shoe over here is wearing on the toe. So we got some adjustments to do. Okay, we're back after another 10 laps, and I've actually used a different color Sharpie now. And you can see more clearly now, after some minor tweaks, we're hitting a pretty good toe now on the passenger side, and a pretty good heel on the driver's side. So not exactly where we want it. We really want to get all three of those marks, rubbing off or wearing down. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to make a couple of more adjustments and see if we, how good we can get it. Okay, we're back. Actually did a couple of different runs. So it took a couple of extra adjustments, but I think we're finally in the ballpark here in terms of a nice, even wear. Now, of course, these shoes have, been used, so it doesn't, totally illustrate my point, but you can see that we're getting contact all the way across each shoe now. Very hard to tell on both of them, but you can kind of see that the ink has been removed pretty much across the board, and that's pretty much as good as it gets. I'm sure there's guys that can do better, but that's, this car is extremely, or I should say vastly improved over what it was when we started. These tires, I'll provide more details on those later on, but essentially these front tires are a little bigger in diameter than the stock ones, which surprisingly increased lap times a little bit. And that's probably just because it just gets a little bit better roll, not quite as much drag. And so you get a little bit more top end. The rear tires are substantially lower than stock, and I'm not going to get into the exact size of them, but they're an aftermarket tire, a little bit better compound, obviously, and they're basically dropping the rear end of the car down onto the rails, and increasing the downforce. I would say we went from probably about 5.9, 5.8 with the stock tires, 5.8, 5.8 grams, to about 6.5. Not sure what the limit should be on these guys, but I would say 7 is probably a pretty good limit. So anyways, this car is doing 4.2 laps in the red lane on SR2 at 18 volts, which is pretty good. We'll see what happens in the race on the 4th, but that just shows you what you can get out of a Mega G Plus with just a little bit of work. So anyways, I hope that helps and made it a little bit clearer about what you're looking for on these shoe tuning tips, and the ink markings really help, especially on race day on different tracks and that sort of thing. You'll be able to get an idea if you're getting optimum shoe to rail contact by doing that. And just in this case, it took about 30 laps to get it totally dialed in, but you'll generally need about 10 laps to see what the wear is really doing. And then you can make some adjustments accordingly, and then get out there and try it again and see what you can do. So anyways, that's another tip for the Mega G Plus. And until the next time, you guys keep your cars dry and keep your tracks warm, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.